Welcome to OM Report by Andre Alpa, your interview-focused podcast on topics from online marketing to internet startups.
So today's OM Report is with Ryan. Ryan, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, not a problem. My name is Ryan Jones. I'm a manager of SEO and analytics at SapientNitro.
All right, so what's SapientNitro?
Great question. So we're a pretty large agency. We're one of the biggest agencies in the world, actually, with over 10,000 employees worldwide. We're a full-service agency. Our motto is redefining storytelling for an online world. Help clients tell the story, and basically, typical agency.
So how does it work with the clients that are typically at SapientNitro? They must be huge corporations. So probably the things that are, for other companies that are probably very online savvy, that are like self-understood, probably it's sometimes news you're bringing to the table. So how do you deal with that? Is your job more, communication and teaching and education and preaching, or is it really, checking out meta titles and whatever?
Definitely, that's a great question. So most of my clients are Fortune 500 clients, several well-known brands. I won't go into them, but so yeah, a lot of what I do is less in the weeds work with title tags and meta descriptions. I mean, we do that. My team definitely does that. But the most important part is evangelizing SEO and search within the various departments and why it's important and what it means and how it can help them, and basically getting SEO to move to, instead of being a condiment like a lot of brands think of it as, something to sprinkle on afterwards, into how can it be part of the ingredients and part of the soup and bake it in from the beginning.
Right. So especially when you're talking about big brands, if we differentiate within keywords into, let's say, conquer and defend keywords or brand and non-brand keywords, your clients, do they typically really go after generic non-brand keywords, or are they actually having a problem, just managing their brand keywords that one might call on reputation management? So what are typically, the tasks that they have to tackle?
Yeah, so generally we start with branded keywords, and it's an easy win. I mean, when you have a well-known brand that everybody knows, it's really easy to rank for your keywords. And if you're not ranking for those keywords, there's a big problem. You got to get there. Yeah.
So does it happen often, or are most of the clients, have they figured that out already?
Most of them have figured that out. I mean, it's pretty easy. The challenge comes in the non-branded stuff. Most Fortune 500 companies don't do a very good job of non-branded content. They just don't have it out there. They don't think in terms of that.
So how do you bring that story? It's quite news to them. So how do you bring it? Because one is like push communication that they're used to, and this is kind of a pull communication that they have to, get into thinking wise. How do you start?
Yeah, I'm glad you use those words.
Imagine I'm a big brand and you tell me, why should I do that? Why should I don't know, I'm Nestle and I have my, or like I have my Mars bar, and why should I rank for, I don't know, chocolate snack? Why does that make sense to me?
Yeah, because, that's a great question. I'm glad you used the word push versus pull, because many brands don't actually think in terms of pull. They're so used to thinking in terms of push that's where they try to approach SEO from a push model too, and as you know, it doesn't work. SEO is a pull model. It's people are out there looking for information. Our job's simple. Just give them what they want, right? It's easy. And in terms of that with Nestle, yeah, it's because people think in brands. I mean, the general public, they think in terms of brands. When I think, where do I want to go buy a TV, I think of Best Buy or Walmart or Costco. I think of the brand. I don't think of the small shop. Same thing with chocolate bar. When I think of chocolate bar, I think Nestle, I think Hershey's. That's what I mean when I say chocolate bar.
Yeah, I'm more the Snickers type, but it's okay.
Okay. But yeah, that's what I mean. I mean those words. I want the brand. That's what I view. It comes back to trust, authority, quality, court, as Alan Bleiweiss likes to say, quality, uniqueness, authority, relevance, trust.
Right.
And brands, by definition, are that. They are that quality, that trust, right?
But how do you get them so can you really convince every of the brands that they should go after generic terms, or do you like half of the time, you can't get them there, they just don't see it?
It's not easy. So when we do SEO for brands, we don't talk in terms of keywords as much as other SEOs do.
Okay.
We talk in terms of conversions. Okay.
So like signing up to a community or a newsletter or something like that.
Yeah. So I'll give an example.
Engagement.
One of my clients is a major auto manufacturer.
Right.
And when we would do our reporting and our analytics meetings, we don't talk about keywords. We don't talk about rankings. We don't talk about any of that. Wow. The main question is, am I going to sell enough cars this month? Do I have to put another incentive on there to sell more? And am I going to hit my sales goals? If not, what can I do to change that? And how can you help me from your channel of search? So we look at the big question. We look at the major business KPIs and what the client's goals are. Is I want to sell more cars.
Right.
How can you help me sell more cars? And am I going to hit my budget this month and sell enough cars?
So, but then again, let's say you're coming up and you're trying to convince your car manufacturer client that they should put up a landing page to try to rank for, cool sports car because you figured out that has great search volume and it would perfectly fit. And then they see this page. I mean, they eventually they sometimes discover, hey, Ryan has did this magic, and then suddenly I rank for this term, and then they see this page and like, what? Is that really something I should be communicating? Because they have these push thoughts, and sometimes when they see the pages that are meant for a pull communication, they're, let's say, confused or have to get introduced to new perspectives.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that?
And
does it happen, or?
It does. That's a major part of the job, is selling that stuff to the client, is saying, hey, you know, I like to take a reverse approach. Instead of saying, hey, I want to rank this stuff for X, I take the reverse approach and say, all right, hey, there's a bunch of people out there looking for this, right? Here's where they're going. They're going to your competitors, or say, in the case of an auto manufacturer, they're going to your Edmunds or your Kelley Blue Book or your Cars.com or your generic sites, and then, you know, we're buying the leads back from them. So I say, hey, rather than buy the leads back from these guys, there's an audience out there looking for it. Let's build it. Let's get them to come right to our site where we can control the message.
That's nice. And that's usually a story that will buy in because they can do the math. You know, they know how much they spend for the leads, and probably also they know how much they're worth.
Exactly. You just got to put it in the terms they understand.
Right. That's quite nice. So, and you said you're responsible for search and analytics. That's like one unit with this SapientNitro. Is that you can, you know?
Yeah.
Or is that like an accident because you're a big fan or a big, you know, pro in both of them, or is it just accidentally, you know, an overlap in your person?
It's definitely not an accident. A lot of companies like to separate everything into silos. So you got your paid search team, your natural search team, your analytics team, your creative team, right? And what happens with that is you get very siloed thinking. Each silo's got their own goals and their own challenges that they want to face, and they all approach it in their own way. We try to tear down those silos, at least in my ideal model is, and you know, we do things a little different where we have analytics. Search is part of the analytics team.
Okay.
So it's one team.
Okay.
It's very unusual. So a lot of agencies, they see search as just this thing you add on after the fact, and we build it in with analytics, and everything's data driven. So I have search people that can do analytics as well, and analytics people that can do search as well.
Is search in your case SEO and PPC, or just SEO?
So in my case, for some of my clients, it's just SEO. For some other clients, it's SEO and PPC. It depends.
I was wondering if the other channels, they will say, oh no, you know, Ryan is faking your numbers because he's controlling analytics. He's attributing way too much to his channels.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
I've seen it happen in clients.
Okay.
I've seen it happen in clients, and you know, you get, when you have natural search and paid search run by different departments,
yes,
you see a lot of overlap and you see a lot of conflicting goals. You know, there's a lot of cases where if you have totally different channels and they go siloed all the way up, you're going to have your paid search team trying to compete with your natural search team, and is it really best for the client?
Depends.
It depends. Sometimes it's not. I mean, the client just cares about overall numbers, right? They don't care which channel that visit came from, as long as their total visits are going up. They don't care which channel it's bucketed in. And by combining the departments, we can just look at that total number and then look at each part as one component of that total number instead of siloed and try to get each one up on its own.
So a client can come up and say, Ryan, please just do my SEO, or Ryan, please just do my analytics stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, they can.
Oh, yeah. We do it. We'll do it all. I mean, whatever's best for that client, whatever that client needs the most is whatever makes sense for them. Right. That's how we'll go.
Do you work for the clients just in one country, or like mostly in the US, or do you also help clients internationalize?
Yeah, so we have a lot of US clients. I have a few Canadian clients. Our Canadian office is really big, and we do a lot of work out of there. But a lot of our clients are international. You know, when you talk about large brands, they're all over the place. So we definitely do some international work with them.
Right. So do they usually manage all their international efforts from the States and then kind of try to internationalize from there, or do they give their branches, their subsidiaries in the countries, you know, the freedom to decide? And how does that, work with you guys?
It depends, really. If they're in a country where we have team and we have people that speak the language and understand the local country and the local customs, I would prefer that team to do it, because as I'm sure you know, keyword and terms vary by region. People say different stuff. I'll give you a lesson. Before I started working with auto clients, you know, I knew the keyword research, but I didn't know that in the UK, people schedule test drives.
Yeah.
In America, we just go in.
In the States, same.
Yeah.
In Germany, it's the same thing.
We just go into the store.
It's like a lead.
Yes. That doesn't exist here in the States.
Yeah.
We just go into the dealership and say, hey, I want to drive this car. Well, in the UK, you schedule it. So that opened up a whole new world of keyword research and of new lower funnel activities to put on the site, where we actually got to take this into account, right? You know, in China and in India, the auto market is very different than it is here.
Work?
It's
they come with cash.
Yeah, I don't want to go into a lot of specifics, but you know, in India, one one of the most important aspects of buying a car is seating capacity.
How many people you can fit?
Yeah, it's how many people
in India,
I can fit.
They stick, even on the motorbikes, I saw like 5 humans on one little motorbike.
Yeah.
So it's very special the way they use their vehicles. So
yeah, and
it's the same as for cars, probably.
It's different concerns. In America, we're all about engine power or MPG or towing or whatever.
So American.
But
you're fitting cliches there.
Yeah, and you learn them when you start doing international SEO. I mean, different countries, they look at different stuff. In India, it's all about seating capacity. It's all about how much storage does this have? How much stuff can I fit? And when you see the cars being produced for the Indian market, they're amazing. They got all this hidden storage and everything folds up into seats and this really cool technology that, we don't have here. But
you have to highlight that in a different way than you would have in another country.
Definitely, yes.
Right. So what have you done before just joining SapientNitro?
Okay, yeah, so I've been at SapientNitro for about 2 years now. Okay. Before that, I was at a company called Team Detroit. It's a WPP-owned agency, working with another large auto manufacturer. I think I've got most of them under my belt.
Okay. So you're really the auto SEO guy.
Yeah, pretty much. Right. I don't want to, typecast myself as auto SEO, but
it just happens.
It happens, right? Yeah.
What do you actually drive as a private person? Do you have what car type do you have?
I actually drive a Mercedes.
Okay.
I also have a Jeep.
Okay.
I love my Wrangler. It's an old one, but it's a really fun car. I love to drive.
Right.
But
sorry for the.
No, it's cool. I just got the Mercedes. Before that, I had a Mustang. So
right. Okay.
It's all over the place.
Okay. So the other company was also kind of a Fortune 500 oriented company.
Yes.
Focused on brands, and you were basically also doing SEO in a brand context.
Yep. And
so brands usually don't go for. Sometimes they have a problem defining conversion goals, right? For many brands, because they don't really have a target. They think of this terms of reach, building, visibility and brand. How do you try to educate them on that too? That there should be some micro conversions or anything, or
great question.
Sign up and so on and so on. They also think in these, pushes of advertising instead of working on a topic continuously. Do you try to educate on these kind of, let's say, online strategy, marketing strategies too?
Definitely. So with large brands and Fortune 500 companies that we work with, it's really hard to define what a conversion is. A lot of sites sell stuff online. In that case, a conversion is really easy. How many sales did I get?
Sure, but that's the easy case. But that's the biggest. The big brands usually don't do that.
Yeah, we don't sell cars or motorcycles or other clients that I have. We don't sell that stuff online. You can't buy it. You got to go to a dealer to get it. Yeah. So how do we measure conversion? It's a tough challenge. And I've run the whole gamut of clients for this, where we've gone with some clients where we've literally sat in a room with a whiteboard and said, here's what we can measure, and wrote it all down. What's important to you? And that usually starts out with that. We identify the KPIs and key performance indicators, or LFAs, lower funnel activities, and what's important. But at the same time, we also do some statistical modeling.
What's the idea behind lower funnel activities? Is that something like micro conversions on the way to the real conversion, or what is that?
Yeah. So what we try to do is, and we've done statistical modeling and analysis, and we have some really smart stats guys that can do this stuff, and examine the sales cycle, examine the touch points in the process, and what the pages people view and what actions they take online, and find out which actions they take online actually correlate to sales on the offline world.
So for example, if I have a car configurator, if I do that, that's like kind of a conversion or lower
exactly. When you actually configure your own car and build and price it online, that is one of our lower funnel activities that we use. So
what an accident. How did I guess that?
Yeah, that's one of the things. So we try to statistically correlate what those people are doing and try and relate that to sales, and I think we do a pretty good job of it. We've got some pretty complex models that I really can't go into, but it's some good stuff.
How's your team structured? Is half of them analytics and half of them SEO, or is every one of them like a mix, like you would be?
No. So at the management level, some of us are a mix. We have some dedicated analytics managers too, some dedicated SEO ones. But in general, the team is spread out where we have analytics people and SEO people. They understand the other discipline. If someone got hit by a bus, I could throw any of them into there and say, all right, I need your help on this, right? Hopefully no one gets hit by a bus, of course. But if that happens, I think my team is all well qualified. But it definitely helps to have those specialists. Everybody's got that one lane they focus on, and they can swim in that lane and be really expert in their one domain.
Okay, so usually if you have a task, you get one of your SEO guys along and one of your analytics guys along, and then you tackle it together, or how?
Oh yeah, as well as a creative guy and an account guy and a developer, and bring the whole team together.
Will be huge.
It usually is.
But then again, it's brands. They're okay with they rather be on the safe side and don't have to be cheap.
Right.
So it's the right strategy for them.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So thanks so much for your time and for the interview.
Hey, not a problem. Anytime, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
OMReport and Andre Alpa would like to thank you for your attention. You can get more episodes on www.OMReport.com.